From the Garden State to the ranks of the Air Force, Staff Sergeant Codie Linden says enlisting just made perfect sense.
When I graduated high school, I was planning on going to college originally, but then when I actually broke everything down and realized that like the military will pay for college, I was like, why would I go and take a student loan out when I know that the Air Force or the military will pay for college, and then I can use that if I want to transfer to be an officer later on. I can bridge that gap later on in my career, and I don't have to worry about having all this student debt under my belt as well.
Linden is a vehicle maintenance instructor at the 346 Training Squadron, where he works both with Navy and Air Force students. He says it's more than just teaching curriculum. He understands the airmen we train today are the leaders of tomorrow.
You know, and it can be anywhere on the emotional side, it can be anywhere on the financial side, it could be just like academics, like they're just not getting it, and you have to sit here and figure out, okay, well, what's your best learning style? And so that's like the big thing that we do all day, is just sitting here and just helping these students to become the next generation of airmen and sailors that we can have in our nation.
The Air Force may have shaped Linden to be the airman he is today, but his resiliency was forged by his upbringing.
I'm actually an only child on my biological mother's side, but I was raised by my aunt and uncle. Growing up with them, it was a lot different, but it's weird because it's like I see somebody else as my mom as well. They're both my mom, but it's just kind of hard to like deal with that. So that's kind of like my upbringing. My father wasn't in the picture, so I had my uncle raise me as his own. I actually took his last name when I turned 18 out of respect for raising me as one of his own.
Despite the absence of his biological father, Linden found strength in the support of his family, including his cousins, who became like brothers to him.
So at first it was really weird. I'm the youngest of the two, so when I was growing up with them, it was kind of always hard to deal with it because, you know, they're the actual kids of my aunt and uncle, and I was just kind of like the cousin that just like kind of moved in. But eventually we like grew like a crazy great bond.
Linden says joining the Air Force not only provided him with educational opportunities, but also instilled in him a sense of humility and a global perspective. He says deciding to stay blue was easier than joining.
I've met some of the best friends I've met here. I've learned a skill that I can now use on the outside world. They paid for my, college. If I have a problem, they can help with that, financially. If I have something emotionally going on, I can talk to people. Like, they have so many resources that people just don't dive into or comprehend that we can have access to on a day-to-day basis. That's why I stay in, because it's like, past the healthcare benefits and all that, it's all the extras that come in with it. You can't ask this out of another company.